It was a moonless night nearly 2 decades ago when I found myself driving down a desolate stretch of interstate after a late-night DJ gig. The clock had struck 2:30 a.m., and the highway lay nearly empty, a ribbon of asphalt winding its way through the darkened narrows. The high retaining walls loomed on each side, casting eerie shadows under the overpasses. As I navigated through the sinuous roads, a sense of isolation clung to the air, amplified by the late hour. My mind was weary, my senses dulled by hours of mixing beats and melodies. But in an instant, the tranquil emptiness of the road transformed into a heart-pounding encounter I could never have anticipated. Out of nowhere, a young woman materialized from the shadows. She appeared as though she had descended from the towering retaining wall, dropping onto the highway with a chilling abruptness. Panic surged through me, and I slammed my foot on the brakes, bringing my car to a screeching halt just inches from her trembling form. Her presence alone was unsettling, and her appearance added to the mystique of the night. She looked to be somewhere between 16 and 20, her long blonde hair cascading around her shoulders. Her clothes, though not the tattered rags of homelessness, bore the marks of someone who had endured a series of misfortunes. "I just need to call my mom," she uttered, her voice quivering with fear. It was the only coherent thing she said, as her eyes darted wildly around her, searching for something elusive. In my bewilderment, I tried to soothe her nerves and coax some information from her. But she seemed inconsolable, her focus fixed solely on reaching her mother. With great care, I maneuvered the car back onto the highway, my thoughts racing, and in my rearview mirror, I noticed a peculiar detail. About 50 feet behind us, another figure descended from the retaining wall, landing on the road with a ghostly grace. I kept this detail to myself, my instincts urging me to keep moving, to put distance between us and the enigmatic figures. The interstate stretched ahead, the yellow lines a lifeline leading me away from this unsettling encounter. I sped up, my foot pressing harder on the accelerator, putting miles between us and that strange, shadowy highway. Throughout the drive, the young woman's mantra remained unchanged. "I just need to call my mom." Her repeated words gnawed at my nerves, but I pressed on, my only thought being to find a safe place for her to make that call. In those pre-cell phone days, options were limited, and I resolved to take her to one of the 24-hour grocery stores nearby. We arrived at the store, and she wasted no time, disembarking from my car without so much as a backward glance. She hurried inside, her footsteps echoing in the empty parking lot. I parked across the street at a gas station, my heart still racing, my mind awash with confusion and uncertainty. I knew I had to act, to ensure this young woman's safety. Picking up my phone, I dialed 911, recounting the bizarre encounter in meticulous detail. I described the young woman, her appearance, and her strange plea to call her mother. And then, I mentioned the mysterious figure that had followed us onto the highway. The dispatcher listened attentively, her voice tinged with concern. She assured me that help was on the way, and thanked me for my quick thinking and concern for the girl's welfare. But as I sat there, watching the convenience store from across the street, I couldn't help but feel an eerie unease settle over me. I had no answers, no explanations for the events that had transpired. Who was this young woman? Why had she jumped onto the highway in the dead of night? And who was that shadowy figure that had trailed us in the darkness? The encounter haunted my thoughts for weeks to come, an enigma that refused to yield its secrets. I could only hope that, in my actions that night, I had done the right thing, that the young woman had found her way to safety, and that the mysterious figures who had entered our lives remained nothing more than unsettling phantoms in the night.